Republic of Ireland manager Martin ONeill. Photo Cody GlennSportsfile It can be pointless reading too much into a manager's post-match comments, particularly after such a comfortable victory as the one Ireland enjoyed on Friday night, but the eagerness of Martin ONeill to bring Robbie Brady and James McLean back into the conversation suggested a man who wanted to get a point across. "We have some pretty decent players coming back," said ONeill when asked if the win over Moldova had given him any selection issues for tonight's game. "James McLean has been fantastic in this tournament and Robbie Brady is a very, very good player, so it's pretty interesting for Monday now. Chris Coleman will be expecting both to come straight back into the mix following suspension yet. While ONeill is sometimes accused of being conservative, he has shown little fear in the past of going with the players who are in possession of the jersey, regardless of the reputation of those they have replaced." Insipid. After an insipid performance at last year's European Championships against Belgium, two stalwarts were axed for the must-win game against Italy, with John O'Shea and Glenn Whelan dropping to the bench despite the best part of 200 caps between them. Gone to were Kieran Clark and Wes Hoolahan. ONeill could have played to the gallery by bringing back either O'Shea or Hoolahan for the last 16 game against France, but the manager felt momentum was on the side of those who had enjoyed the buzz that went with victory in Lille. "Nobody will be telling I was there stories about Friday as they were in Lille, but it did, at least, break the misery from the 1 point from 6 picked up against Georgia and Serbia and allow the optimism that the country so loves to build up before big games to flourish. The opposition must, obviously, be factored into the equation, but the performance of Callum O'Dowda was similar to the type of form horse that ONeill has backed in the past. The Bristol City man provided an intelligence of movement without the ball and good use of possession, which haven't always been the hallmark of players in ONeill's teams. O'Dowda, it seems, is gaining the trust of ONeill, and although he is probably being earmarked as one for the future, there was enough quality in his display on Friday night, even against Moldova, to put a thought into ONeill's mind that he could be ready for tonight. O'Dowda could also provide an unknown quality that Coleman won't have factored into his plans, because while both McLean and Brady would feature on a list of Ireland's best 11 players, they provide a dilemma for ONeill in terms of tactics. ONeill insisted last year that, despite feeling Brady could play equally well at both left-back and on the left of a three-man midfield, he didn't see him as a utility player, and he since found himself in the number 10 role during the games in which he plays further forward. McLean's role is much simpler in that he is a chalk-on-their-boots winger who gives everything to the cause, but, especially if Stephen Ward is playing left-back, it limits the team's creativity and rather wedges Ireland into a traditional 442 system which ONeill pictured seems to be trying to escape from. ONeill has always embraced the fiery side of McLean's game and trusted him to find the right balance, but, in what could well amount to a winner-takes-all or at least take-second match, launching a fully wound-up McLean from the start is a risk ONeill will have to contend with. With the intense atmosphere there, you need to play with your head and you have to play with a great deal of intensity too, and the two don't always marry, admitted ONeill on Friday. Goalkeeper Darren Randolph also predicted fire and fury in the Cardiff Cauldron, although several his expectations of how the game will pan out don't exactly tally with the usual tactics of the Welsh under Coleman. "The Welsh team will be the exact same as us," argued Randolph. "We are similar nations in the way we kind of fight on. We have similar styles of football." The likes of Joe Allen and Aaron Ramsey might beg to differ on that point, but if ONeill is serious in his belief that Ireland need to play with their head, then the away game against Austria must be the template from which the game plan is based. Last-ditch Ward is, arguably, playing as well as he ever has for club and country, but it was Brady who started in Vienna and provided the link from the back, through midfield with Harry Arter, and onto Hoolahan in a rare performance that didn't rely heavily on last-ditch defending to earn a result. Trying to wedge Ward, McLean, Brady and Hoolahan into the one team, as ONeill did at home to Serbia, leads to an imbalance, with the creative players Hoolahan and Brady being stifled infield, and while every conversation around Ireland seems to come back to Hoolahan, it would be a stunning decision for him not to start tonight. If he doesn't, and the argument about a 35-year-old playing 2 games in 4 days is brought up, it will beg serious questions about why he was left on the pitch for 79 minutes against Moldova. "I've told the players, this is it, so don't die wondering," added ONeill after Friday's victory. "You have to go for it. And we will go for it. That bravery has to start with the manager." Irish Independent.